Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey Scott, thank you, man. Doing great. Jamie, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, Andy. I'm good. Staying warm here in the freezing temperatures of Texas.
Yeah, the cold air hasn't quite made it all the way across the state yet, so not too bad here, but we'll be getting it later. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I got a great crowd in here. I'm glad we got a lot of new people, so we'll be showing off the software, and let's just dive right in. Let's go over the legal issues first. Shouldn't call them issues. I should just call it a disclaimer, what it is. All right, we are a publisher. We're a content provider here, okay? We are doing this for educational purposes only, okay? Nothing that you see or hear should be construed as investment advice, all right? If that's what you're looking for, please seek out a registered advisor or a stockbroker, somebody who has a license. All right, bear with me, our 5-star support, education, and training, okay? This is mostly for the people in here kicking the tires, or maybe the people that just signed up and do not know everything we have to offer. Well, I'm here to tell you it's a lot. Okay, we have the traders room with Barry that most people are aware of that because it's very popular. About 500 plus traders in there. Some really good traders, not only Barry, but there's some people who have been in there for years, and you get some great calls in there. Not only do you get to see the software in action, you get to listen to Barry talk about the product and the market and trading. So it's a great place. So, and not only that, Barry is in there to help you. If you have any questions regarding the software, just hit him up, especially after the first couple hours. He will help you. And not only that, he'll be able to show you on his screen. All right, we have webinars Monday through Thursday, every day in this same time slot. Okay, you can see them there on the left side, although the trade of the week one is missing out of that one because it is a subscription service. But nonetheless, it's always Jamie, Steve, and myself kind of juggling in twos and taking care of 3 of the webinars. And then on Wednesday, you get Dan Merkin, our CEO, and Brad Williams, our CTO. That's a great place to go for a demo and Q&A. All right, Friday support session. I know there's going to be a lot of people in there this tomorrow as we head into the test drive. Even though they won't have access to the software yet, then maybe they can still learn a lot. So if you're in here and you are getting access to the software tomorrow after the close, you might want to come to that Friday support session and just hang out. I'm sure you'll learn a lot right there. This is every Friday at 11 Eastern time. And we usually go a couple hours anyway. And if the questions keep coming, we'll go longer. It's scheduled for 3 hours, but it seems like everybody gets tired and wants to move on their Friday after a couple. All right, TI University. This is another thing we are going to, we're going to not have next week, because what we do next week during our test drive is we're going to open up the just a kind of a Q&A every morning. And we're going to have our afternoon webinars dedicated to helping those in the test drive as well. So there'll be plenty of resources next week for you to come and learn more. But I will say this, these are recorded on our YouTube page. Just go to YouTube, right? Put in trade ideas and go to our playlist and you'll find TI University in there. I would highly recommend watching these videos. It's going to take you 4 hours, but you're going to learn a lot. You're going to have a good grasp of the software during that time. All right. Another thing you're going to be able to do during this test drive for 2 weeks is you're going to be able to use our paper trader. Okay, this is a way for you to test your trading, your strategies, portfolio management skills directly within Trade Ideas. Okay, you do not need to be connected to any broker. Okay, Trade Ideas is all you need. You don't need to fund an account, and you just basically use what's called our Brokerage Plus. It's also now a paper trader. And we'll have more information about that. Don't trust me, we'll be covering it when you get access on Monday and show you how to use it and all that. So don't worry, but it's actually quite easy to use. All right, here's the agenda for today. We're going to have a market recap as we always do. Okay, then we're going to go into a Holly recap. A lot to talk about lately. We're going to be spending a lot of time on NEO, and as a matter of fact, probably my biggest segment today is I'm going to show you Neo is finding the setups on these earnings plays, and I'm going to give you about 5 examples of some really good calls that Holly made from the Neo. I should say just call it Neo. I think we're kind of gravitating slowly away from Holly, but the AI Neo, we'll talk about that when it comes up. All right, then I'm going to talk about using the 10 SMA with bull flag setups. You know, since we have that 10 SMA now for the daily, well, a lot of time frames, but I'm going to focus on the 15-minute time frame and the daily time frame. And we're going to show just how to use basic little filter to make sure the setup is looking right in all aspects. And I think the 10-period moving average would really help you with that. So we'll talk about that as well. All right, let me back out here and let's dive in to the market recap. All right, let me put on the spiders. And for those of you guys that are normally, we'll pull up the spiders. It's still used deck when it comes to stocks, and they're pretty fairly weighted. I'm going to say it's fairly weighted. In other words, you don't have so no bull case to be made here. Even though the intraday action has not been great since this day right here. I mean, we had a gap up. We could not above this level. So what did we do? We finally went sideways for a while. Another gap up today with the red candles. So it's almost forcing you, you know, to hold overnight marketplace on these days, and our software gap today. So, and that's kind of, you know, that's nothing unusual. We've been seeing that over the last 10 years a lot lately, but for whatever reason, yeah, the market seems to reward overnight holds more than they do intraday. So, but highs, there's market come back and fill until we hit this nap. We gapped up. I am not going to, you know, other averages. Qs very similar. No need to talk about that. It's pretty much identical to what we're looking at in the SPYs. Diamonds will look real quick, and finally got up out of the range today on a U. If they are dragging IWM higher, and no here, look how full. Boy, you would think we could get some, knowing the way this market trades, but like I said, this market has a way of rewarding overnight holds. But that red candles, it's kind of I don't know. Peek out right here. We tagged it twice. I thought that's going to be enough, you know, or are we going to come down and maybe test it again? But we'll see. But I think that's enough of that. Breaks
being one, the IWM.
Yep, exactly. Stuff to talk about with Neo today, but you go first, and maybe kind of, was it a banner day like the previous day was, or yesterday, but yeah, still seeing some really good stuff in there.
Yeah, and I don't know if everybody knows, but we've been tweaking it into the over the risk.
No, you talk about all the stocks you want to, because what I'm going to be talking about is going to be probably totally different than what you're going to be saying about it. So talk about anything you want to, Jamie.
All right. And so here I've got the all trades blotter. First and foremost, I just got to talk about this little guy right here, talking about, that's a pretty bold one, right? When you look at this this short sell that, so you had this nice juicy, because I mean, look how it sets up just slowly. The thing about it is that, if you got it back here, well, great, you made even more. But even if you became aware of this and you weren't in the trade because of Holly, all day long. I mean, look at that range break right there. What's that level right there? And then once that thing broke, a buck. So just monitoring it, not even being it from Holly, but waiting for it to set up for this range break, you could have made it or pretty close to it just by playing a secondary pattern on that. So, you know, and it was a slow mover, not throwing a lot of wiggles. So a great, great winner from Holly, kicking out almost 20% on that one. Now, let's look at some risk on, risk off here. What jumps out right off the bat here is this one. Once again, Holly Neo on a breakout long strategy. Check out, okay, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, you may have noticed this. I should have said something in the beginning. Are you used to seeing these new titles here? You know, we used to have risk off, risk on, and full risk, okay? But it's still a little confusing to people. So we just decided to make it a little bit more human-like. So risk off is now conservative, risk on is moderate, and full risk is aggressive that you can see right here. So conservative, moderate, and aggressive, right? And these values here are based on my Holly settings, which we're only risking 50 bucks per trade, right? That's our maximum loss per trade. It'll get us in the right amount of shares, but if we get stopped out, we'll take that $50 hit. And correct me if I'm wrong, Andy, but I believe that's how we're going to start reporting the modules over here as well, because it makes
it going to be with? Is it going to do it with $50, Jamie? Or
you know, that's a good question. Or will it be programmable? You know, for example, when I change what I just did there, this should adjust too. Ideally, and you know, in my brain, that's the way it should work.
I think so.
But hey, you know, we'll have to wait to see what the old coding staff has to say about that. Yeah. Okay. So check out this Erie here. I mean, not a bad entry in that first 15 minutes, about 6 minutes into the market, which is about as soon as we'll see the AI firing, about 5 minutes in for Neo. But not a bad entry price there, kind of right in the middle of this big wick action here, 47.92. And Holly just gets a little impatient. You know, doesn't even sit in it one more candle after the entry here. We can see not a very long hold time there, about what, 16 minutes before she got a little nervous and plugged out of it for a 54-cent loser based on the share size that we had right here, which happens to be 54 cents. Really no reason to get out of the trade, right? All we had to do is big of a no-brainer to go, you know what, stay in it, or in this case, even rolling back to what I talked about Monday, using an exit signal as an entry signal here. This is the classic case of that as well. You know, yeah, you missed out on a little bit of a move there, but only to the tune of 54 cents when you're risking 50. Easily made an entry right here, even got another chance right here, back down to the entry line before this thing got up and boogied today. And check out the relative volume. Of course, these are all going to be high that come from Neo, but finishing the day at 3.33, usually kicks out 1.46 million, clipped out a little over 3.5 million shares today. And that one reported yesterday. So this is just the after effects of the earnings kicking in. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't point out the sweet 10-period moving average, which we now have a filter for. Very exciting. And you know, that was the meat of the move there, right up here at the tops. Of course, we regressed by the end of the day, but not bad at all. Now, Yeti, a little bit of meat left on the bone here. Once again, profit save from Holly AI or Neo, right? A lot of the same attributes apply to this trade, because if we got it right here, that's all fine and dandy. I mean, we saw this one go sideways all day, Andy. So whether you took it with Holly here or not, or whether you saw her exiting for that profit save, once again, would not have been a bad entry right here, because once we get these wicks put in here and we got this thing going sideways, you know, it wouldn't have been that big of a stretch to go, you know what, I'm going to mark this up, just like what we saw on the party trade earlier. Not quite as pretty of a chart, but you see the same thing playing out. You know, the only reason we're aware of this one is because of Holly. It's a setup, but it's a setup to finish the day doing 8 times relative volume, right? So, you know, once again, when you got this type of volume pumping through a simple pattern like this, what happens? We get on here and break these candle bodies right here, go sideways for a little bit longer, and then you get the majority of the move there, all right? So, you know, just hammering home the fact that original signal, great. See Holly exiting on that profit save or reduced risk. Still might be a lot of meat left on that bone because we don't hold it against Holly that she's not very proficient at exits, right? Because that's not her strong suit. The strong suit is the statistical probability. And then once you start stacking that statistical probability with these types of volumes, you really do have something special there. Okay. Let's see here. Anything else to note here? Bank of America. I love seeing people, robots, make money shorting Bank of America. It just does my heart good. But once again, I mean, we got the same type of action. Get in the signal with Holly. We ebb and flow around that entry line a little bit. Start, throwing out a little bit of graphics here to keep us tied to it. Whether we use the wicks or the bodies, that's your personal preference. Once again, a really nice setup. Not quite as hardy of a relative volume today, but hey, still almost 60% of normal on the relative side. And once again, just another simple breakdown pattern that we could have easily capitalized off of. Got that 10 period tapping it down all the way there as well. So, you know, these exit signals are getting us, you know, they're tuning us in to when all of this has already happened. The boring part's already over, but hey, guess what? The boring part makes a pretty compelling illustration here for what might happen, right? So, you know, whether it's the original entry signal or the exit signal that gets us in for that move, you know, great. We did have a couple of repeats in here, but I know you got some good stuff to show everybody, Andy, so I'll go ahead and kick it back over to you because I don't want to eat up any more time.
All
here.
right. Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate it. Very good. Let me fire it up here. And can you see my screen?
Affirmative.
All right. Internet's trying to act up on me a little bit, so I think we can get through this. What I wanted to talk about today, guys, is, and it was in the email, is how Trade Ideas, the AI, is finding these earning setups for you. And I've noticed some really good ones out of NEO the last couple of days. And I'm going to point these out, and because I think they bear, you know, mind paying attention to when you see them. You know, there's going to be, obviously this is new and we are going to be working on it. I already have a couple of ideas for Michael on some of the things I'm seeing, but boy, I'm really finding some really good setups in this one. And let me go back first to yesterday, okay, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, these are setups that are developing after about 30 minutes. Okay, the first one on the screen was Cody, I believe. Okay, I go backwards in time here, obviously. No, I'm taking it back. Hold on. This was these were shorts mostly. I'm sorry about that. Swir was what I was referring to. It came out later. All right, so let me go back in time. And this is a great example. Okay, and you can see this is a 15-minute chart yesterday, and we opened up, stock drove down, had a couple of green, okay, candles, and then put in a little tight candle right there, and we got the sell signal right here for a short. Okay, and if you looked, earnings were at post-market on November 5th, right? Yesterday was the 6th, so this was an earnings play. The volume was there. I can't remember the exact relative volume, but it was high. You can see it's still doing you know, almost 5 relative volume today. It was much greater than that yesterday. You can see the volume candle, so it probably was doing, I don't know, 13 or 14 relative volume. Obviously, a horrible looking chart here, gap down on bad, you know, earnings, and sold off, and you can see the sell signal right there. And it's just a beautiful setup that you probably won't, if you're not staring at this stock, nothing's gonna, unless you get some crazy vibes to pull up SWR and short it. But our AI gave you this yesterday, and yesterday happened to be a really good day for a couple of these trades. And gosh, there was one to the long side, and I can't remember it, but I'll maybe go back and take a look at it because we can't go back in history. Okay, the next one was CGBD, kind of a obscure name, doesn't matter. It was doing volume. So let's go back to yesterday. Kind of the same setup, guys. We had it opened up. Okay, now these aren't ones, there's a few that are getting called real early in the morning. These are setups. Okay, I want you to pay attention to these. Once again, earnings play on November 5th, post-market. Yesterday was the 6th, opened up, gap down, tried to move higher, and look, boom, failed. You got your sell signal from Holly Neal right there. It's golden. You can see tried to bounce back a little bit today, but this was pretty much an all-day hold if you wanted to bounce back a little bit on the close, but a lot of opportunity there to get out, there pretty much all day. In other words, it was a no pain trade. It entered, went lower, and it continued lower. You can see the candlestick right here all day. That was a pretty big move from 13.95 all the way to 13.73, but a pretty big, it was actually a pretty big percentage gain there for that. Now let's go today. We had two today that were really beautiful. Yeti, which he talked about. Once again, the sell signal, we had to sit in this one, but I want you guys to keep in mind, I want you to look at the daily charts and then keep in mind, this is an earnings play, it's gapping down, we got the sell signal, nowhere near its stop. It pretty much just kind of chopped around sideways. I mean, a little bit of pain here and there, 25 cents, if you will, and then chop. You have to be patient with a lot of these, okay? Remember, these have been back tested and optimized for all day holds, okay? You really better off taking small size and trying to stick these out for all day holds. You can see this finally just gave it up and at the very pretty much closed on lows. Another one that took a while today was the other one that Jamie mentioned, Party. Same type of scenario, ugly chart, and there's your sell signal, okay? Went sideways for, some time, and then just basically just slowly, kind of a death march, I like to call it. It's just a death march all day long after that, and he showed you the 20% gain in that one. But you can see, and I think what you're going to find out in the Neo, and what you need to try to focus on is the ones that are working, let them work, just like Steve talked about yesterday. And when you start managing these ones, tend the garden. These ones that aren't working, cut them and forget them. Although this one came back, but oh well, sometimes that's going to happen. But for the most part, you're better off. You can see a lot of these went lower or stayed the same. I think you're better off once the stop hits, get out and let the winners run, just like he showed you today in Erie, which was my other example for the long side. I'm sorry, I had the wrong day. Okay, was Erie. Okay, this is one where, if you look on the daily, there's a lot going on here. Okay, if you look right here and you see, levels being broken. Okay, and you're looking over here, and really your next line of resistance. I mean, you could find a couple of points here, but really you have to go all the way up here to almost over 2 points higher. And it went there and then some. So when you see these setups, okay, and even if you don't like taking stocks, and I don't blame you, if you're afraid of taking stocks in the first, some of them are going to be called early. You see 835, 840 down here. That's tough for any trader, and I don't recommend it. Although a lot of Michaels, it's going to work because these things are doing huge volume. But even if you don't catch this on the first 15 minutes, you had plenty of time, even in the first 30 minutes, to get a position in this and participate in this beautiful daily kind of breakout there on the chart. And also, guys, another thing I wanted to talk about is, and I know it's hard, especially on the short side sometimes, but a lot of these things have beautiful follow through. So let's go back to SWR. Look at this today, okay? Yesterday's close was around 894. Look at this follow through at the open. Okay, dropped all the way down to 844, you know, another 50 cents in that one before it bounced. So, you know, keep in mind this, what was it? Let me see, I think it's Cody. Cody may be setting up for a potential go, Pauls, go. Because look, we still have resistance up here. We always talk about sometimes these stocks are on it didn't quite make it there yesterday. So I'm not telling you to buy it in the morning, but I would not be surprised if this is a go, pause, go, at least to test this level and possible this level or that wick over there. Okay. So what I'm trying to get you to think, and look at all these buy signals in this thing. Oh, that was 2 yesterday we had on a pullback. But let me see. I got some questions coming in. Hold on just a minute here. Let's see. I'm seeing a lot of losses in Andy's platform where those actual trades are just. No. This is just our Holly. This is what you will have access on if you have the software. These are not actual trades. These are alerts. Okay. And yes, I have mine set for. You can see if I pull this up. Mine is set on $200 risk based on the stop loss. So in other words, all these come with a stop. If I click on these, you can see Yeti. Okay, when that fired this morning, the stop was set up here for you. So what I have mine set on is $200 based upon a stop loss. Okay, that might be high for some people. Maybe you want to put it at 100, and all these will be just divided by 2. All these P&L, this whole P&L will be divided by 2. Or you could even put it on $50 maximum stop loss and play it that way. But yes, these are alerts. You will have access to Holly if you are taking the test drive, or if you have our premium package, you will get to see all the Holly trades. But no, don't think that this is live money. These are just
yeah, those are just all the
based
Holly
upon the alerts and the exit.
Hey, so Andy,
Go ahead, Jamie.
there was another question that Jonathan had. You know, for example, let's say you've got a position from a strategy that says get me out automatically 5 minutes before the close, okay? But you go ahead and close the trade out manually earlier in the day. And the question is, would you have to worry about Brokerage Plus getting you out again, even though you had already closed the position out?
Okay, I see it. Jonathan, no. If you execute an order, it'll automatically go in and adjust your size. So in other words, if you sell half your position and you have a stop order out there, it'll adjust the stop to only sell half. If you sell all of your position, it'll automatically cancel that order, your stop order. Yeah, it's pretty neat. It's really cool. Because trust me, I've had brokers that don't do that, and you got to go in there and manually do them yourself. Okay, Jeff says, can I set up Holly to trigger the buy order but turn on the sell parameters, closing out manually? You can always, yes. Go ahead, Jamie. You may know that better.
I was just like, hey, that's what we call gray boxing, right? Let the machine get you in, but then you manage the exit.
Now, what you'll have to do in a case like that, well, there's a couple of things you could do. Okay, you can come up here and let me grab one from my Brokerage Plus. Hold on just a minute. Okay, let's say this Baba here. I don't have a stop order. These are some of the ones I entered on my robo trade today. So let's say this tap right here was a short, okay, that I got in right here. And you can see the stop is at 55.75. Okay, let's say, well, first of all, what I like to do is enter my trades without targets, because I like to keep my stop where it is and I don't use targets. But if you do use a target, You can do the same thing with a target at any time. You can take it, grab your cursor, and you can move that stop wherever you want to. Okay, it should be adjusting. Being slow today. It may be, let me try something else. Documents along. Let me see if I can grab one on the intraday here. Yeah, say stop. Say it's a little tight. I don't want to get out if it breaks that level. I'd rather it go all the way down to here. And documents at 2.6. Wait, stop distance from stop price. Why don't I have a stop price in here? Now, I don't have a stop price. I'm not going to take time, but trust me, I just moved my stop down here, so it will adjust. Wait, let me. Why don't I have a stop price? Hold on. Do I not have it on? Let me see. Where is the stop? Bear with me. There it is. I didn't have it on. All right, so okay, so you can see right there, see how the stop price just changed? It was up here, now it's already down here. I just moved it and switched it, so it'll do that for you. That makes sense? It's very cool. It's very intuitive. You guys are gonna love it because you can do so many things with it. But let's go on to make sure we don't have any other questions before I go on to the next topic here. Okay, Jamie asked you that. No, you won't be able to connect Brokerage Plus to TradeStation right now. Maybe in the future at some point. Okay, we're working on other brokers as we speak. Right now, the only one is IB. But the thing about it is, remember, guys, you do not need any connection, okay, to paper trade. And trust me, whether you're developing your own strategies or you are trading Holly strategies, you're going to want a paper trade for some times, just to familiarize yourself with the Brokerage Plus platform. And of course, any strategies or Holly strategies, you want to check it out for a while in paper trade.
And
all
Andy,
right, so good
Kelly,
stuff. Go ahead.
Kelly slid in a question up there that I don't think we got to it, but the question is, if I change the stop order in the IB platform, but I'm connected to Brokerage Plus, will that be reflected in Brokerage Plus? And the answer is yes, because it's just mimicking what is already in the IB workstation, trade workstation. So,
yep.
You know, it's kind of the back, because we usually do everything through B Plus and it changes in IB. But yeah, if you change something in IB, since we're just connecting to and showing you what's going on in your workstation account, then the answer is yes. But hey, it doesn't hurt to go in there and try it out and make sure that everything's working like you think it does. But just my 2 cents there, Kelly.
Oh yeah, and keep in mind, guys, okay, because I don't want anyone to get confused, okay? Up until now, we had to paper trade through Brokerage Plus. You used to have to open up an account and fund it to do paper trading. Now, if you look, if I go to my connecting here, I can connect to Interactive Brokers or paper trading account, Trade Ideas paper trading, which is really sweet, because this is what you want to do until you're ready to go live, and then you can deal with Interactive Brokers. But Jamie's right. Yes, we are actually trading an account right now through Interactive Brokers, and everything is working smooth. No issues at all. But the sweet thing is, Paper Trader does the same thing. So now, so you guys will have access to that. And love all the questions, guys. I know a lot of you are coming into the Kelly, you can connect to Interactive Brokers paper account. I don't know why you would, but you definitely can. You make sure you get our videos on how to connect that properly. But yes, you can do that. All right, a lot of good questions, guys. So let me, if you guys have any more questions, obviously about Holly, Neo, or the Brokerage Plus, fire away, okay? Because right now that is more important than what I have coming up. Okay, how would I go about getting help on setting up my alerts?
You know what day tomorrow is, Andy?
Yeah, Don, are you going to be available tomorrow morning at 11 Eastern? If so, come to our Q&A, come to our Friday support session. Yes, okay, come to our Friday support session. If you go to
Andy, I'm gonna
Jamie,
drop the link in the
yeah,
chat box so that he can sign up for an invite. That way, he'll have an invite and can just hop right on in there.
perfect. Thank you, Jamie. He's going to drop a chat in there for you, Don. So just sign up, you know, for the support session, and we'll show you everything you need to know. All right, plus go to our YouTube page and go to the playlist. We have so many videos in there that can help you. All right, guys, so yeah, I want to talk about the, let's just pull up our, bull flag. And let's put this on real time. Live during market hours, it's already on there. All right, so this is something that I built not too long ago, and what it's looking for, okay, this is bull flag intraday, looking for stocks that are flagging on an intraday pattern, okay, and you can see this ING, it was a good example. It moved higher, okay, and it's been going sideways for a while. See if I can find a better one. Caesars. Okay, that one was one. I'd like to get one that was doing it. Let me put it on this morning. Let me do a historical date here, and let me put it on about 9 o'clock this morning. Nighttime. I'm on Central Time. And of course, nothing was flagging at that time. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to start out with the bull flag daily. All right. So these are stocks that I like actually the daily one better than the intraday. Steve will actually get a lot of good TOWs off this thing. But let me show you a couple in here. What it's looking for, it's stocks that have moved up, okay, out of a range, and like this Microsoft on the daily here, you can see it has to be up a certain percentage. I think it's like 3% or something over the last 10 days or something like that, and it's trading sideways, okay? It's what you call a bull flag, moving higher and just kind of going sideways here. This one is a beautiful one, and I would keep an eye on. That's textbook right there, guys. You had a big move up, looks like maybe after earnings, and now it is going sideways. It's flagging, a great example. CRH, this one is more of a ADR. It looks like anytime you see that Morse code, dots and dashes, it looks kind of, so I'm not real interested in that one. But these two, I would love to keep an eye on. So what I would like to do, I'm thinking, since we have the 10 moving average now as a filter, this could be a great filter to use with these bull flag patterns. So what you can do is you can kind of bracket that 10 period moving average, so you're only getting these when stocks are close to the 10 period moving average. A lot of times we say this 10 period moving average will come up and act like a springboard and shoot these things higher. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to create a filter, so we'll only see these you know, when they're close. Now, you can make it real tight, or you can kind of loosen it up. I think the best thing to do is kind of loosen it up and then just kind of use your, maybe use price alerts or something like that. But let's just go in there to take a look at what we can do with this, okay? It's a top list. and which means it's going to refresh every 30 seconds. Okay, there's no alert in this. Okay, it's just a series of filters that I have built in here to assure I get this bull flag look. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to come in here and I want to add the 10 period moving average for the daily. Okay, so what we're going to do is go to the search window here, and we're just going to type in 10 SMA, and there we have it. Change from 10 SMA. And we're going to add filter. And now what we're going to do is just kind of bracket. We can bracket this to where we're only getting it when it gets close. Now, once again, I think you got to be careful, you know, because you're not going to get a lot of data if you try to put it right at the 10 period moving average. And remember, this only refreshes every 30 seconds, so you don't want to, you know, miss anything. So what I would do is maybe just come in here and, well, obviously you want it below, you want the price, I'm sorry, above the 10 period moving average if you're looking at a bull flag, because most cases, remember, we had price movement and then sideways action. So the 10 period moving average is going to be coming up underneath it. Okay, so all we have to do here is put a minimum of 0, okay, just to make sure that the price is above the 10 period moving average. And then we can come over here and just try, and this is where you just might want to play around with it to see how much you have. Maybe just do 1%. Okay, and let's click OK and see if we eliminated anything out of this. And we did. We eliminated that ugly looking ADR, I believe it was, yeah. All right, these don't look bad. Now, no, we didn't. We eliminated the one I liked. So this is what I'm saying. You got to be careful. Microsoft is almost textbook right now because you have it touching it. Tried to sell off today. Look what happened here. Tried to sell off. Uh-oh, here's the 10 period moving average. So this is maybe one to watch for a move higher up out of this range. So let's go back and just remove that one filter and just make sure, because this is what I want to tell you to be aware of. Okay, so we put 1%, which tells me that one that was in there that's looking really good, that BSP, I believe it was. Okay, so let's take out this one right here and hit OK, and that should come back in. There you have it. Okay, so if you don't want to see them, you know, this close, you know, you could probably, or you don't want to eliminate something that's looking like that, maybe you come in and you put 2%. But what this will assure, maybe let's just try that, see what happens real quick. 2% will work. Let's see if that works. All right, we got it back. And I would have to go in here. I don't know, I could actually put a column in. What I could do is put a column in here. This is so cool. So you just go in here. If you want to see exactly how far it is, just put a column, and we'll put change from 10 SMA. So we'll know exactly how far it is. And there you have it. So we know now this BXP. See, when we put 1 in there, we eliminated it, but now it's getting closer. So I would probably keep it, you know, at 2, because you really don't want to miss a setup like this. Sometimes these things get in a hurry. In other words, there's so much momentum pin up in this thing that it won't even wait for the 10 period moving average. So what you could do is see these things that are close and then just kind of mark them up, create a price alert, and click save. And that way you'll be notified, you know, if this thing tries to explode out of this kind of a wedge flag it's building here. Let's see, do you have a quick link to get those current versions? Is he talking about, okay, he's talking about, yeah, Jamie will get you that, a link to those versions.
Yeah,
and
Scott
Randy, yes, I will share. I will share the intraday bull flag. Let me go in and, did I already add those? Oh, let me do this. Put it on real time. All right, so let's try this again. Let's configure this. Did I use, and let's try it using the, I may have used the wrong one, 10 SMA on a 15-minute chart. and we're going to add filters. So now we got to use, since we're looking at a intraday on a 15-minute chart, I got to use a 10-period moving average on that 15-minute chart if we're looking for those intraday bull flags. We could add filter, and now if we want to get it close, we could come in with a, if you want it above, if I'm looking at a bull flag, I would probably want it above. So probably what I would do in this case is put 0 as a minimum, and then maybe let's try 1 and see if that works. And if it doesn't, guys, I may just have to, okay, we didn't eliminate. So all of these are above their moving average. So that's what you might want to do. If you're looking at an intraday bull flag, this one, like this one right here, is a beautiful. Of course, the day closed, but it was setting up as a beautiful one there with the 10-period moving average below it. Verizon kind of got sloppy there. A lot of things. Remember, the market was kind of ugly there today in the afternoon. But on an intraday bull flag, I think what I would do is just make sure it's above the moving average. In other words, if it's bleeding down below the moving average, it's probably losing strength, and so I don't think I'd use that. But I would just use a simple 0 as a minimum on the 15-minute moving average. And yes, Randy, I will go ahead and share this with you right now. I'll share them both, actually.
And Andy, while you're kicking that out, just referring to Jonathan's question there, where can I get version 42.46? I'm not aware of that one. Now,
well,
we're always a couple of versions ahead on developers.
You're way behind, Jonathan. Yeah, now we're at 42112. So you want to go, it's in production now, right, Waleed? It's a production version.
Correct.
So you just want to go to our website, yeah, and get the production version.
Yeah, but 4.6, see, 4.6
I don't even know. You'd have to go.
12, yeah.
Yeah. You may have to, if you want that, when we're not going to have access to it, you may have to come to our help session tomorrow if that's something you're looking for, and maybe one of the techs can dig it up for you, but we don't have access
I guess
to
the
that.
big question is why? You know, why would you want an older version?
Yeah, I don't. All right, let me go ahead and share this Bull Flag Daily setup as well, and then I'll bring Scott in, and he'll tell you guys more about how you can get on the test drive if you're not on it. All right, there you go. You're welcome, Waleed. Okay, and John, let's see, that's the one, the headlines. Searching for current version.
Probably an old link.
Okay, he said he'd go with 112. Yeah, that's going to be your best bet, especially if you want to use a paper trader. All right, guys, a great group today. A lot of good questions. Thank you so much for your participation. We always encourage interaction here. And with that said, we are running out of time. I'm going to bring Scott in here, and he will walk us through. And you guys hang on, and we'll let you get signed up for the test drive if you're not on it.
Yeah, thank you. So that test drive that's coming up next week, it's a great way to sample Trade Ideas Premium. Again, we're doing it for 2 weeks this time because we have a lot of new features, including the paper trading, simulated trading platform. We're also going to have a price alerts contest in week 2 that lets you win a full year of Trade Ideas Premium plus a lifetime Brokerage Plus license, so you can auto trade Holly signals with Interactive Brokerage if you have an Interactive Brokerage account. And we're adding more brokers soon, so that contest should be a pretty fun one. Just go to trade-ideas.com/test drive to register. It's basically $9, but that covers your real-time data fees and all the extra help that we give out during that time. So again, trade-ideas.com/test drive. There's some great ebooks that are out. Both Andy and Jamie contributed chapters. And go to trade-ideas.com/setup to get them. Just put in your email address and you get the download links. And there's 3 books, 2 chapters per book. They include cloud links to any of the strategies they're talking about. There's a podcast, we probably will have a new episode up tomorrow. We usually release on Fridays. Just search for Trade Ideas Podcast wherever you go to listen to your podcast and add the subscription. There's a new code for this webinar this month. It's paper trade. So use that if you're ready to get a subscription, say 15% off any subscription or an upgrade from standard to premium. Or come to the test drive and see it all for yourself, and come to our special webinars that we're having during the test drive too. So if you have any questions, email us info@trade-ideas.com. That's the best place to send all your questions. It goes into our help desk software. You can follow Jamie on Twitter at QuantBot. Steve Gomez is at Today Trader. We also have @TradeIdeas. And Trade Ideas Pro is the Facebook handle to like and share our propaganda with your friends. The recording will be up later on tonight or tomorrow, so stay tuned for an email tomorrow with a link to the playlist. Thanks.